Hello friends, so welcome to this lecture on IAAS or VM security controls, or we can say host security controls within the Azure. So in this particular lecture, we'll discuss the various controls which you can apply in order to secure your virtual machines, or we also call it as infrastructure as a service. So first of all, we'll discuss about the restrict direct internet connectivity. See, whenever you deploy your virtual machines within the Azure, the first and foremost important thing is we need to make sure that okay, if we have the virtual machines assigned a public IP address, then it should not have the management ports like 22 or 3389 in case of Windows and 22 in case of SSH. They are having source any allowed means they are we are providing access from the internet as well till the point it is not required. So even if it is required, we need to mention the particular IP address or a CIDR which will basically be used to manage those particular virtual machine. So direct internet connectivity, we should make sure that it is not there with the virtual machines, because in that way it is pretty easy for the hackers which are sitting, they can scan the machines outside and they can basically check and they can do the brute force attempts and all those things with the different dictionary attacks and all those things to try to log into your machine. So I have already seen these kind of attempts within the environment. So that is the first thing. Then the other option which you are having is to secure your virtual machine is encrypt your sensitive data. So with the help of Azure disk encryption, you can encrypt the sensitive data which is stored onto your disk. So there are various options, like if you are using Windows, then you can use Windows BitLocker, and in case of Linux OS, you can use the DM encrypt. So in that way, you'll be able to encrypt the sensitive data if there is any sensitive data stored on your virtual machine disk, that it will not be visible to any other person who is not having access or who do not require access to that particular data. And that is the second control you can have in order to secure your virtual machine. Because to your virtual machines, in order to write something, you attach the disk. Now if that particular disk is not encrypted, then there is a risk of unauthorized access to your data. So better we can do the encryption over there using the Azure disk encryption. And then the another control we can have onto your virtual machines is protect against the malware. So that for that you can use the anti-malware service which is provided by the Microsoft, or you can use the other vendors like Trend Micro, Semantic is there. You can check for the options which all options which Microsoft provides. So you can do that while provisioning your virtual machine as well. And with the help of this, you can perform the full scan, schedule scan as per your convenience. You can run the scan and check for if there is any kind of malicious activity and to prevent any kind of threat from your virtual machine. And then the other control we can have in order to secure our virtual machine is control the VM access, so that we can do with the help of the role-based access and the Azure policy. See, with the help of role-based access, the role the user would be having, there are a number of options we can provide. You can provide a user a owner role onto a virtual machine, a contributor role, or a reader role, or a security admin role, or a security reader role. So let's say if you'll provide the security reader role, then he'll be able to access only the security related settings. And then you can also control access to the Azure policies, to the Azure virtual machine using the Azure policies. See, Azure policies are basically for the governance within your environment. So let's say if you are using multiple subscriptions, then certain subscriptions you have provisioned only for the dev environment, and all the virtual machines which you will be provisioned within the dev environment, you would like to have certain policies implemented on those. And let's say if they certain subscriptions, they are having virtual machines, and those subscriptions are for the production environment. You would like to apply some stringent policies to have a better management onto the production subscription. So in that case, with the help of Azure policies, you can do that. For example, within the production subscriptions, whichever VM you will be provisioning, you want to have a governance like no one should be able to have a provide a public IP address onto a virtual machine. So in that case, you want to go through a proper approval. So make sure that you can apply the Azure policy, or you can control such access via the Azure policy. Or let's say whoever is trying to access a production VM, in that case, we want to control, or we want to make sure that okay, just in time access has been provided, or a multi-factor authentication is required. So all these things you can control with the help of Azure policy. Then last but not the least, which is also very important, keeping your VMs current or manage updates. So whatever the VMs you are having, we need to make sure that okay, automatic patches and the vulnerability scannings and all those are happening onto our virtual machine. So we can update our virtual machine so that they are current and no updates or patches are missing. So in that case, we'll keep our virtual machines secure and prone to attacks if there are any kind of vulnerabilities or any kind of malicious activities happening. So in that case, if the patches are updated, we'll make sure that okay, our virtual machines are secure. So this is it, friends. In this lecture, we discussed about the various controls ranging from direct connectivity and installing an anti-malware and making sure that okay, VM is updated using the manage updates or by installing the proper patches. So thank you, friends. Thank you for watching this lecture. Meet you in the next lecture. Thank you.